Welcome to Herbie at Heart, where herbalism grows in the roots of our hearts, an intrinsic journey where we dwell on the deep and expand the narrow. Staring, as always, your favorite herbalist Tash. You find her on Instagram at Avantgarden Life, and me, Phil. You find me via Power Plants Berlin. One plant, one show. That's the topic. That's our thing, and an interview with a person representing a part of that plant. And today, it's gonna be
Grandfather Pine is the theme of this show, a tree in the Pinacea family, also known to some as an evergreen. They stand tall and straight. They are very resilient and grounding, giving us green landscapes throughout the year. They protect, warm, and heal. And in this episode, we will explore the world of this wondrous tree and what they can give and teach us. Pine trees are also known for their ability to thrive in extremely harsh conditions, endure the passage of time, and grow strong through their deep, stabilising roots. Similarly, body therapy emphasises the importance of grounding, resilience, and the healing of both emotional and physical trauma. Drawing parallels to the strength and adaptability of the pine tree, we will have the pleasure of interviewing Daniel Holbach, who works in body psychotherapy and somatic experience.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Great Christmas vibes with the pine happening and a lot of Catholic guilt. That's one of the topics of this episode today. We're going to talk about it a little bit later about how it's used in as well trauma therapy as a plant or a remedy from Bach flowers regarding the topic of guilt. That's a big theme of today's show. And one amazing thing that we're going to need all is mercy always to help us over our guilt. So we're going to start this episode with the beautiful evergreen Mercy Street by Peter Gabriel.
Okay, today we're going to start this show with a piece that I've written over the years. I've worked with pine for a really long time. And yeah, we're going to start with a written piece just because I can, or because we can. This is a little story about working with pine and what the pines can do for us and how they can support us. A beautiful family of trees, standing tall and green, even through the winter months, the other name being the evergreen. It gives us the protection we need as we walk through winter, the grounding we need as we retreat into the inner space of our souls during the colder months. The grandfather pine keeps us warm, protects us, aids wounds, supports our lungs and digestion. The moment you enter a pine forest, standing in amongst those great grandfather pines, it brings you immediately to the present moment as you inhale those rich, tanniny, lemony essential oils. The elders of the pines whispering to you, "Do not worry, my child, take it slow. You are protected and supported by us." Grounding, balancing and calming, almost as if nothing else matters in this world except what is happening in that very moment. It brings feeling of being a child again, sitting on an elder's lap as he tells you stories of the people and the land. I have worked with the pine for many years. I have used it for grounding one's soul, soothing anxious minds which don't let us rest, insomnia, and to create a feeling of belonging. For the lungs, our inner organ which connects us with the world around us, opening airways as if you can breathe once more, protecting, supporting, and strengthening. It brings warmth to an otherwise cold to the bone body, sending the heat from deep within, exploding out to warmth the entire body, warming from the inside out. Almost as if a fire ignites deep within your soul, radiating outwards to warm the entire body, from deep in the middle to the far reaches of the surface. Great for those cold, chilly, right to your bones days. Aiding digestion through warmth and movement, the seeping resin draws what is not welcome out of our systems and sealing wounds almost as if nothing has happened. We feel protected under the pine, centered and calm, loved and almost in between the magic of the forest and the world we live in. All parts of the pine can be used in medicine, not only to warm our hearts, support our lungs and digestion, but also to bring feelings of being at one with nature, to be again with a tribe, to feel the interconnectedness we have with the earth.
Thank you very much for this beautiful piece.
Pleasure.
Yeah, I think you already mentioned a lot of things that I would like to talk about in the signature of the plant. Maybe for those who have no idea what a signature is, there's some certain abilities or healing abilities that plants bring. You can already have an idea by just looking at them, what this plant abilities, what they bring to this planet. For example, a classic example is like Pulmonaria, the Lungenkraut in German. It's a very well-known herb that you use for lung diseases. And if you look at the flower of this plant, it looks like a lung, or you have an idea of the lung. So already we have an idea how plants will be used. And we have that with the pine, of course, as well. We can look at the pine. We can look at the signature of the pine, like it's a very tall, upright, growing tree reaching towards the sky while having quite strong roots. And it has this ability of endurance, alignment, strong immune system. The pine is already known that it has like a lot of abilities to fight parasites and all these kind of things. And that's how we can use pine as well in traditional alternative medicine and traditional medicine. We have this aromatic resin that it has. It uses the resin to heal the plant's wounds when there's a wild boar, any kind of animal coming, and they love to eat the bark or something like this. Or even parasites, anything is coming. They use resin, like we are using blood to get rid of intruders, to heal the wound, to seal it in the end. And also that's an amazing ability of that pine. The resins are antibacterial, antiviral, antiparasitic. You can use them for a lot of stuff. There's been studies on it. In preparation for this radio show, I read a study by from Freiburg, I think, from a university, where they cut different kind of woods and they prepared wooden plates, and they put different kind of bacteria families on it and see how they react on different kind of wooden plates. And the pine family, with one of the strongest, I think it was the strongest family, and the oak family, in a time frame of like 24 hours, most of the bacteria were reduced to almost a minimum.
Wow.
So you can see how strong the antibacterial function of that tree is. And of course, we're going to provide you with these studies in the show notes that you can find if you listen later on Spotify. We can provide you with the information of these kind of things. And also there's a beautiful story about the resin. It's kind of a myth that has been around the pine, not exactly the pine family, but the Fichte. It's one of the specific tree from the pine family, from the Pinacea.
The spruce, I think that is.
Is that in English?
I think it's spruce, but it all is in that family.
Yeah, it's definitely in the family. I kind of have a problem with tree names in English.
I get them all mixed up with the German English, but they all use very similar, that you can use them kind of interchangeably.
Yes,
and no.
Yes and no, exactly. So there was a study, and it has a story behind the study, which is quite interesting. With the spruce, yeah. So the story goes that there's like a how you call people? Wood chopper, that's it. So he's outside with his chainsaw and like chopping.
Being all manly,
yeah. And it was in Austria, like maybe 50, 70 years ago, something like this. So he's being outside, chopping and sawing and doing his thing. And there's an accident. So he cuts almost all the fingers of his left hand and goes to the hospital. And they tried to put it back, but like there was some time in between, so they couldn't. They said that it's not going to function like that. Probably he's going to lose his fingers. So what he did, he went back And he used an oil that his wife had prepared in like this old, a can, or that was like just sitting around. And he put all this oil, there was a mix of oil and resin from this sprouse, put it on his fingers, and came back to the hospital after a while. And all the bacteria, the nerve function was being able to grow back because of that sprouse. So the doctor was so amazed, and he was like, "It can't be possible. Like, we were sure that it's not going to be working anymore. We were sure these fingers are dying off, and we cannot save the hand. But with this oil resin mix, everything was able to heal again." So what the doctor was doing, he went back to the wife of this wood chopper. Wood chopper, right?
Wood chopper,
not woodpecker. Yeah.
That's the bird.
Yeah, okay. This wood chopper talked to her, and she showed her this resin thingy. And with that in mind, he started research on the resin of the spruce. And Spruce. Sorry.
Spruce, like Bruce.
Like Bruce.
Bruce like
Spruce
Bruce.
Lee. Okay.
Spruce Lee.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So he started some research on that tree and the tree family, and especially on the resin. And they did an amazing study on how the different resin of the different trees from the pine family works on different families of bacteria, viruses, and fungi. And actually, you can even work with multi-resistant bacteria.
A bit like an antibiotic in a way.
It is an
in
antibiotic,
this direction,
and even stronger for some families of bacteria where we cannot use antibiotics anymore. We could start working with resin in it. It has been old knowledge, of course. I mean, the wife and the husband, this family were doing it for years, and just because of this accident, it got into the public and medicine.
It's funny because when I was looking, I found some stuff in Alaska, but much older, like more the tribes using also all different pines and spruces, and very, very, very particular ones for very particular things. Also the resin, like one particular one chewing on the resin for toothaches, but then another one you would use if you had like sores in your mouth and not for the toothache. It's funny that so it was very specific which resins they were using.
Yeah, okay.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they have strong antibacterial, antiviral, anti-fungi, anti-parasitic, so you can use it for almost anything. I used to be collecting resin from pine trees and making creams, putting it in creams, and it's such an amazing healing ability just from the outside, sealing wounds.
Yeah.
It's the best thing that you can
I've used it on like sinusitis and stuff, those creams, also on the outside, chest rubs, and just with pine. Yeah. And it's the resin's pretty magic.
Yeah, I mean, we know it from sauna, for example. Putting it on a sauna thing, working with the etheric oils of that.
We all love a good sauna.
Yeah, of course.
Bit of nakadai, bit of naked time in the sauna with the pine.
Yeah. Talking about that, we can have a look a little bit on the ingredients and the chemical composition of the pine. Because we have these resins, of course, that we can use and collect. And maybe a short notice, if you're going to collect some resin, don't cut the tree, please. It's not worth it. Like a tradition, how they do it in Austria or Italy in the mountains, for example, they drill holes into these pines and then collect litters out of them. And it's not amazing for the tree.
I don't like that.
No, and there's so many trees that already been hurt, and they're giving out so much resin to just use what they're providing.
A little point on that as well. If you are going to go to the wound, don't dig in the wound.
Nope.
Just like there's a lot of resin that you'll find around, and collect it over time. Like every time you find, collect a little bit. If you dig in the wound, it's not good for the tree.
No, don't collect anything from just one tree. Like mix it up, take a little bit here, take a little bit there. Some of them are giving, some of them need it for themselves. Just be a little bit wary and see the condition of the tree. I think that's quite important.
Yeah.
So we have these resins, we have strong essential oils that we know from our Nakadai sauna time that have amazing abilities. The pinene, for example, is one of them, or limonene. And vitamin C, especially in the needles. Fresh needle tea in the winter is an amazing provider for vitamin C. When you're getting sick, just collect fresh needles if you can, because the vitamin C is strongest in the fresh needles, and use them, and you're gonna have like amazing antioxidant benefits. And classic, of course, is tannins. I mean, not as strong as in the oak tree, for example, but there are quite some tannins in there as well. So we have like this anti-inflammatory and coagulating, astringing properties.
You can also taste it when you take the pine, especially the cones. They're like your mouth almost goes back down into your stomach
while you suck the cone. Yeah. Classic.
While I'm cone sucking.
Classic Tash.
One of my favorite pastimes. Little dirty secret. So the resins is not the only part of the tree we use.
Yes.
Needles, and also the fresh needles in spring. They're on one particular, it's actually called a hemlock, which is also in the family. But watch out, because there's one of the most poisonous plants. It's also called hemlock in English. Just be aware that there's a hemlock plant and a hemlock tree, and the hemlock tree you can use. And in spring, you can collect it. It's there's a lot around Brandenburg. You can collect these little, they're almost fluoro green sometimes, and it's this fresh shoots, and you collect them, and they taste like vitamin C. They're like a lemony vitamin C snack. And you can put them in vinegar, and they make such a great multivitamin, a vitamin.
They're super sour, right?
They're really good. They're kind of soury, lemony, but also you can almost taste like the vitamin C content in it. And they're so good when you put them in either honey or vinegar. And then you've got, they extract the vitamin C really well. And then you've got this, you don't need to buy vitamin C.
Oh, yeah.
You just have it there
for
all
free.
The time for free.
Just be careful if you're gonna be outside, collect needles from trees, that you make sure you know what it is, because we also have a very poisonous tree, evergreen, the Eibe taxus. If you see red fruits on a tree,
the yew in English,
don't use it.
Don't use that. The yew tree,
quite dangerous, especially for children. Just be careful.
Stay away from that one. Should I keep on going with some of the? Yeah, I mean, we're using it, as you were saying, with the resins. I found that very interesting, the story actually with the plate, because how it was killing a lot of the bacteria. You can always transfer this stuff to the body. So if you read sometimes these studies and it's outside the body, then you just kind of transfer it, and then you look at, okay, if you've got a bacterial lung infection or something, which a lot of people are getting them lately. They're more and more, I'm finding, these lung issues. It can be really good for that. I've used it so much for people with lung issues, and really when they're really boggy, a lot of kind of slime and it's almost not coming up. It can be really nice for that. And it also calms our system. So when you're coughing all the time, the system's quite agitated, and I think it's a really nice one in a cough mix with what other herbs you're using. And it's so easy to make. We're going to have a recipe which is going to be like an elixir. So almost the whole family can use it. It is a bit contraindicated in pregnancy just because of the high the high cannons in there, the high tannins. But yeah, it's a wonderful plant for the lungs. Great one with the vitamin C content, of course, for the immunity. And if you have made that vinegar that I just said, if you made that in spring, you can use it on your salads and that, and it's a bit of food as medicine. So throughout the winter, kind of ingest it here and there, or as Philly said, you could go and collect the needles and just make teas here and there. You can bathe with it. It's really nice in the bath. And you'll often find in DM and Rossmann that you can buy it. Just go get some in the forest.
Yeah.
There's often branches that have fallen on the ground, and I usually use them. They're still pretty fresh. You can see that they've just fallen down, and just pick a bit of them off.
That's true. Yeah. You can smudge it.
Yeah.
Very beautiful as well. Very strong effect. So, yeah.
I came out with a bit of a theory on my bike. So I haven't been taking, me and Philly always take the plant each month, and I didn't take the actual tincture because I've taken it so much, and I took the flower essence this year, and I've come up with some epiphanies with the flower essence. And one yesterday on my bike, which I found quite interesting, is that we use this this tree, one of the parts, like usually the spruce, as a Christmas tree at Christmas. And I found it really interesting. And actually, it was something, weirdly enough, that Daniel had said to me, who we will be interviewing, about how we become so speedy at this time of year, yet it's the time of year when nature goes back into itself and we really should slow down. And I had to ask myself, is that why we use pine so much at this time of year? We use it like for the wreaths. We use it as the Christmas tree. It's like kind of celebrated at this time of year. And
Slow down.
So, yeah, I wonder if it's like it's been used for such a long time, if that was sort of the intention unconsciously that we bring it into our homes, and yet we still are not learning from it.
No, we're not.
With our hectishness.
Yeah.
With our hectishness. That was a good Jinglish word.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit of a theory on my bike yesterday, an epiphany I had about the pine.
Is it a saying, or did it actually happen on your bike?
What I thought about?
Yeah.
No, that's what I thought about yesterday on my bike.
Okay. I thought there's an English saying like.
Yeah, could have
like
been.
I
thought
thinking on my bike.
I had an epiphany on my bike.
Yeah, okay.
No, that was a real thing that happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very valid point. Me using the pine remedies that you gave me, a needle tincture, you gave me a pollen tincture that was quite sweet and interesting, very, very interesting. And another one that I just forgot about. And a cone. And I used them all, mixed them up a little bit, and for me, I got into a big state of anxiety, which was very interesting. It calmed me down and it grounded me in a way, but with that, I had the time and space to connect with something deep and sad inside of me, which was a very interesting process. It was not like that it brought it, like it kind of brought it up. It guided me to face like moments of sadness, I would say, put it like that.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. So it actually did slow me down a lot. I spend a lot of, like normally start my day around 11 at these days when I'm just lying in bed, like because I can do it in the morning right now.
Oh, since the pine?
Since the pine, yeah.
Ah.
Actually, it's interesting. I didn't realize, but it's basically since I started this tincture, I'm like not waking up at all.
That's cool though, because it's great then for this time of year to slow you down.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, it came 45 minutes late for this recording, so
slowed a bit too much. But what is too much? That's a good question. Maybe that's not too much for you at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's teaching us to like maybe go at our speed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's calmed me the hell down.
Yeah, cool.
Calm yourself down. That's what it's saying to us.
Okay. I mean, another big thing with the pine. It's one of the first thing how I used it in the bug flower remedies. Is this topic about self-acceptance and release from guilt. So it's like used for individuals who are burdened by self-blame, even when they're not at fault, who apologize excessively, like always saying, I'm sorry for things that I never did. And pine can cultivate forgiveness with that kind of thing, which is a very, very interesting approach also. And I did use it quite often in that kind of, in that regard. And I think you probably did a flower essence by yourself of the pine, didn't you?
Yeah, that's what I've been using. Actually, I've got the hemlock.
Ah.
So it could be slightly different because when you first told me about that, I was a little bit like, oh, I haven't understood that from the pine, but then I'd never taken the essence. And now since I've taken the essence, I'm understanding a lot more in why it could go in that direction. I'm feeling that a little bit in a different way of also this idea of like around Christmas, being hectic, and I'm just slowing the fuck down and I really don't care. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, I'm doing my thing. And I can kind of understand this self-acceptance part of like just accept that you can't do as much as you want.
Yeah.
or as much trying to finish everything, like everything in the whole world, in my whole life, finish it by the end of the year, as I tend to want to do. And that's just completely gone. I just don't care. I don't even care about Christmas presents.
Oh, your poor family.
Yeah. I don't care. It's all about self-acceptance, self-compassion towards myself.
Oh, yeah. No, that's cool.
So I
That's
found
amazing.
that connection, what you talked about, I found it as I took the essence, actually.
Interesting. I mean, for me, it always has been a big thing. I mean, I grew up in a religious environment. I mean, I'm not super religious, but I grew up with Christian education, and guilt is always like a topic in that regard. And I mean, especially as in festivities like Easter and also Christmas. I mean, it's a birth of Christ. It's a birth of like the winter. We're coming down at the point zero, basically the darkest point in the night where new light is created. I mean, it's not just Jesus. It's an old tradition that us Germans and Celtics have been celebrated thousands of years before. But and working with pine like that also, maybe like what I was talking about before, connecting with the deepest parts of myself, connecting, like it opened me to a place of sadness, which is, I might look at as a dark part of myself, you know, like things I don't want to look at. So in a way, they can open up to certain dark places and support you to go down there. And this is what we're doing in the so-called Rauhnächte. Do you have an English word for that?
I always forget the English word. Yet we don't really celebrate it in the Southern Hemisphere because it's like more upward energy then. It's not about going inward.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But for listeners out there, a lot of listeners will know what that is.
12th.
I even think in English a lot of people won't know. But it's
12 nights between Christmas Eve and Epiphany is what they say also.
Yeah, like 6th, 7th. It sort of changes the dates.
Yeah, so it's like basically we're coming to the equinox, so we have the darkest day of the year. Solstice, yeah, sorry. Solstice, so we have the darkest day of the year. And the idea, as you can see in nature, also with the plants, the energy is going down, as we mentioned before. So it's time to look in, to introspect and see what is the things that want to be looked at the moment. And I think pine can be an amazing supporter with that and help you not to be scared and blaming yourself for these dark aspects that we have inside ourselves. Yeah.
Our guilty pleasures.
Our guilty pleasures. No, our pleasures.
Our pleasures.
No more guilt.
No more guilt. The guilt will not be there anymore. They will just be pleasures.
Yeah.
So we should probably play a song, or?
I think it's time to play a song, yeah.
You've heard us enough.
What did you bring?
I bought a track, and I've been listening to it a lot since I've been taking the pine. That's why I've chosen it. It's called St. James Bed from Bones of J.R. Bones. Bony, bony bones.
Okay, so we introduced the pine quite greatly, being humble as we are. So we always have an interview in every episode, and we are finding a connection between the plant that we're talking about. And today we are interviewing Daniel Holbach, and he's a body therapist, as we said in the beginning. And there is a big plant connection between this beautiful pine and Daniel, who we're going to interview. And the pine tree and body psychotherapy, as well as somatic experience, they can be understood through the symbolism for healing, resilience, and growth, concepts that are deeply relevant for our healing journey. The pine tree and all the pine family, they are known for their ability to thrive in harsh conditions. They endure the passage of time and grow strong through their deep, stabilizing roots. Similarly, body therapy emphasizes the importance of grounding, resilience, and the healing of both emotional and physical trauma, drawing parallels to strength and adaptability of the pine tree. So these three elements are interconnected through the themes of grounding, resilience, and the body's wisdom in processing trauma and emotion.
Yeah, Daniel Holbach's works in the areas, as we've mentioned a few times now, in body psychotherapy and somatic experiencing. He began his career as a software engineer, quickly transforming into roles focused on team dynamics and project management, particularly within open source communities. In 2017, during a sabbatical, he trained as a Heilpraktiker for psychotherapy, merging his technical expertise with a passion for personal growth and healing. Daniel's decision to become a therapist was shaped by his own journey through insecurity and emotional disconnection, leading to a deep understanding of the power of self-awareness and body wisdom. Believing in second chances, the guidance of our inner wisdom, and the transformative potential of life's challenges, Daniel is dedicated to supporting others on their paths towards authenticity and well-being. Hello, Daniel. Welcome.
Wow, what an intro. You're very kind.
You deserve it. So we're just going to jump right in with our first question. Daniel, how does the concept of guilt relate to body therapy, and how does guilt manifest in the body?
Yeah, guilt is a big one. It can be very, very pervasive, especially in trauma survivors. It comes up a lot. And what's important is figuring out, is it shame we're talking about or guilt? And people use the terms interchangeably all the time. So coming to a and I tell people a lot, guilt I sort of reserve for things that are like textbook, like law-like problems, I make a dent in your car, okay, it's a problem, I've got to fix it, And that often makes it a bit clearer what are we talking about, because the sort of the antidote to a feeling of guilt is I take responsibility. So I'm going to apologize, and you might hold a grudge. You might not accept it, but I know I'll take responsibility. I fix it, I get the dent fixed, and then I can walk free again, So it's very important. Usually, often it's not that easy, especially if I'm being made feel guilty or I'm being guilt-tripped, where it more as a connotation of, I have a sense of guilt or feel guilty and I don't belong to this group anymore, or this connection is interrupted, And then it turns more into feeling of shame, and that we can find in the body much stronger than a sense of guilt.
Can you explain maybe a little bit the difference? Because now that you mention it, I'm not quite sure if I can differentiate the two feelings so perfectly well.
Yeah. So guilt in the sense of guilt, I know I've done something wrong, and it's easy for me to identify, and with taking responsibility, I have a path forward. There's something that can be repaired. It might be a process. It might take a longer time, but it's a way forward to resolving an issue or a mistake I've made.
Okay.
When it's more about shame or I'm being shamed, that's also very, very pervasive. I work with it with the clients every week. There it's more of a sense of I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's something deeply, inherently wrong with me. And there, because you asked how does it manifest in the body, often what you can see when somebody experiences shame is, their head drops, I'm looking down to the ground, and there's a lot of energy because there's this feeling of I'm wrong. It is very it is a very strong manifestation in the body. It's very stressful. Also, because if you look at it, from an evolutionary place, it's also the concept of shame is also used in groups of animals. You know, if there's like a socially or a behavior that is socially not accepted, an animal might be kicked out of the group. You know, and only when they come back, you know, with their heads lowered and saying, "Okay, I've done something wrong." It's with in apes or horses. You know, it happens there as well. Because if I'm sent out of the group, it means I'm on my own, you know. So, and that's the kind of stressful energy we're carrying in those moments of shame.
Oh, so it's the tribal shaming where more could be a
Yeah.
thing which could come in many forms.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
So basically, when I'm talking about guilt, and most of the time I'm actually talking about shame. When
Yeah,
it comes to myself, at least.
It's like, you know, I'm made to feel guilty, or you know, a guilty conscience. Like it often has this quality of
It's
I'm
very interesting.
I'm wrong, and to discern this and to make it clearer again. What is my way forward? How can I redeem myself? You know, and walk free. You know, that's it's very important.
It almost feels like that you one is like you kind of know you've done something wrong, and the other one is like you don't really understand what you've done wrong, but someone's telling you a little bit like you were talking about with the church, is telling you you've done something wrong, and you can't. Is that often then what the issues are, that the person feels guilty about something, but they don't understand how to shift it
Yeah,
or what they've actually done?
Can be an important part. Often it feels like I'm wrong, you know, and especially if we were made to feel that like very, very early on in our lives, there's even more the case. It's like it's just this vague feeling, I'm wrong, you know.
And in your work, like what can you do in physical or body therapy to move from that feeling of I'm wrong, from the shame, from self-devaluation to more self-respect, self-loving?
Yeah, yeah. So what's very important is figuring out what are my resources, what is really the core of me, like what are my values, what are things I've really done well in my life, you know, and especially trauma survivors, they're often just looking at the big problems of their life, and they can't bring into their personal experience, what am I good at? Where are the, you know, the positive parts? What is my core? What do I believe in? What am I drawn to? You know, these are all things with great power, and making more room for this again. So it's not just a black picture, but it's, you know, it turns into a more colorful picture again. Is very important. But also, it's all important to work with boundaries, you know, that I get a stronger sense of, you know, this is my space, and not everything that comes through, not every stupid thing someone says can't make will make it through, you know. That's very important as well.
And all those things that you mentioned now, for me they seem like psychological exercises, but I would imagine them to be on a not so much on a physical level. Like how is guilt or shame? Is it manifested in the body? Is it something that you work on patients and you feel by working on their body something is happening in them, or how do you approach that?
So often clients in the beginning, they just want to talk.
Yeah.
And it's important to have the content, but I always pause in between and say like, okay, now that you're talking about this, what do you experience right now? So that you get a sense of what happens in the nervous system when you're saying, and they looked at me like this, and then, oof, and now, you know, my stress level goes up, or my heart beats fast, or I notice like everything gets a little more constricted, or I can see that somebody is, you know, lowering their head because it looks like a shame reaction, and then we can experiment with this. Like, okay, what would feel more comfortable again? And then often you can see already there stretching, or you can, just small exercise. How would it be to, elongate your spine a little bit again? And then, okay, I was sitting here more upright again. Yeah, that feels better. And then often, because there's so much tension in the body, and so a high arousal in the nervous system, you can see how a transition from this one state to a more upright, calm place, there's already going to be something happening, like a discharge of energy, maybe a little tear, or somebody might get a little angry for the first time, and that's also what we're looking for. If there's like a little bit of anger, it already means somebody's like, okay, I'm not going to take all of this anymore. And then, you're a couple of steps ahead.
A little bit of reaction from the body. I love this idea of this explaining, as you're explaining, like getting straight, and it just sounds like you're talking about the pine. And like the symbolic of just kind of opening up and getting stronger again, like holding your space again.
It's very interesting. So it is a lot of practicing of mindfulness, probably to understand again what it means that I'm actually like feeling in my body, like what's happening with my body while I getting to a loop, thinking loop situation or something like this.
Exactly. So looking at body sensation is one. Others might be stronger in, like inner images. So they're very, very creative there. And then now I can feel like a small volcano inside. And okay, then we'll work with that,
I like that. I like that you're getting, you're almost using what fits for them, not creating something for them, which is probably the worst thing you can do, because that's what the guilt is. Someone else has created it for them. And to give them space to express whatever that is that needs to come out.
Yeah.
Can you maybe provide us with a little exercise for the audience that just helps us to connect with our body again?
Yeah, one I love to use, especially when people are up in their heads, or, they notice a little bit, okay, it's getting a bit too much. And then I would say, okay, we're sitting already. How about you just watch your breath? You don't need to change it. So the breath is coming and going. And then just gently on the out breath, press your feet a little bit into the ground. Then release again. And then always on the out breath, press a little bit into the ground. And then notice more of the connection to the ground, the support of the chair, and also how you're exercising some of the strongest muscles in your body. Maybe also engaging some of your core. Maybe also notice over time how your breathing changes a bit. Maybe it gets a little deeper. And then you can let go again. And just experience. Did anything shift? Maybe an inner image came up. So there's one I enjoy using.
So simple and actually very effective. I did it I did it right now, and it was really quite amazing how almost the breath, my lungs opened up. It was almost like, I can breathe again. Also very piney. It's a very piney exercise. Look at us.
Very nice. Very beautiful. Unfortunately, we're running out of time already. So is there something else that you would love to share with our audience tonight that you want the world to know?
I think I'm good for now. I really enjoyed how the pine and all these subjects just came together. It was a beautiful tapestry. It just happened out of its own.
Okay.
Plants are magic
So-
like that. You can find, if you've got questions for Daniel, you can find him. Where can
We'll put it on in the
okay, yep. Okay, we'll
Show
put it in
notes.
the show notes.
Sweet.
If you
Sweet.
have questions for him.
Yeah, questions or want to book a one-on-one session, body therapy in Berlin, we provide you with all the information in the show notes for Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you also brought a song for us.
Would you like to introduce it?
Yeah, it's called Forest by Ibadet Ramadani.
Amazing.
Welcome back. And now we have
Recipe
time. Recipe time.
Yum, yum, yum.
Today we're going to do, I'm just going to quickly talk about it. As usual, we have very little time left. We've got a pine and spruce elixir. And elixir is when you mix alcohol and a sweetener. Here we're going to use honey. And basically you just collect like different parts of the pine. You could just do needles. You could use spruce, the hemlocks, and a bit of rose hips because they're also got really good vitamin C content. And they grow at this time of year. So they're growing when the pine's now in the colder seasons. Throw them all in a jar, 3/4, fill it up, 75% of 40% alcohol and 25% raw honey I've used. Leave it there, month, 2 months, take it out, Bob's your uncle. Finished. We will, of course, be putting this all on Instagram, the longer version.
Yes. Also, I got a little syrup for you. You can just use pine needles, mix it with sugar, one part pine needles, 1 part sugar. Cook it up, stir it up, reduce it, filter it, and then use it for cocktails.
Oh,
It's really amazing. It's a great taste. The resin inside, very, very beautiful.
for Christmas cocktails.
Christmas cocktails. So that was it for this month. We have a little bit of invitations that we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Tash, what's up in your next weeks?
In January, I have a firesider workshop on the 21st, and I have an Embolic event, which is in the group of the 8 celebrations on the 1st of Feb.
Amazing. I'm going to invite you to Homeopathy Imbaum in Schöneberg. At the 20th of January, we're going to have another session of homeopathical acute diseases, how to treat them if you're not an expert. As always, you find us on Instagram, Avantgarde Life and Power Plants Berlin. You can book one-on-one sessions in our Gemeinschaftspraxis in Mommsenstraße 55 in Charlottenburg. Looking forward to seeing you there. If you need some help or support, hit us up on Instagram. We are there to be contacted.
Save us, touch us, speak to us, ask us.
Yeah. And
Whatever.
Merry fucking Christmas.
And herbal at heart, herbal by nature.
That's it. Take care.